Hello there, welcome back to my channel. It is of course only me again, and yep, you've probably guessed it right, we are back out doing some more metal detecting. So to start, it is an absolutely wonderful spring day. The rain has finally decided to go somewhere else, which is absolutely great. And we are back in the same ploughed field that we went into last week and the week before and had some absolutely jaw-dropping finds from. So if you didn't catch that video, we had Roman brooches, Roman coins, medieval coins, all sorts of nice bits. And the really interesting part about that video was that I went over the exact same patch that I did the week before and still managed to find things. So in this week's video, I'm going to be going over the same patch again, only this time I am armed with a 9-inch coil and a program that I've been working on for some time that's hopefully going to be able to pick out all those nice bits in and amongst the iron. So if you want to see what I find today, stay tuned, and obviously everything that comes out of the ground, you're going to see it right here first. But that leads me to say thank you all so much for watching my videos, supporting the channel. It really does mean an awful lot to me. And if you do like this one, drop me a thumbs up at the end, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below as well. But that's the talking out the way, let's get some digging done, and I will see all of you on the first hole. Okay, so at this stage of the video, I think it's going to be quite important to let everybody know that since we came in here last week, as you can see, the crop is already starting to come through. It is a lot more sort of thick and fast than actually what I thought it would be. So I think that this is going to be our very last opportunity to get into this field before it's cut down and harvested, which is an absolute shame because we all know how many great goodies this field beholds. And also, of course, we are going over the same patch. So, you know, I've got to let you know that we might not find anything at all in this video. And to be honest, I'm really not expecting to find anything because it would be a really, really lucky chance thing for us to get more things. But we're certainly going to give it a go. As I said, we've got a special program that I've been working on that we're going to try. And hopefully we do get to sort of wrinkle out a few more bits. And it will just be so interesting to see whether going over the same patch 3 times is going to yield some even more finds as well. So hey, well, stay tuned, I'll keep you posted. If anything comes out, I'll let you see it. Well, as you all know, I've come back into this amazing field and I've gone over exactly the same patch I did for the last 2 weeks, and I have pretty much made a quarter of one pass so far, and it has been quiet, I'm not gonna lie. So that's obviously a good thing because it means that we are actually picking up the stuff that's in here to find. But just had another target, and what has come out is a really cool little button. And it really is a tiny little button, this one. I'd say it was about 3 to 4 inches below the ground, and it's obviously copper alloy. Nice bit of decoration on the front. But how did we miss this one? Because this is exactly the same patch we've already gone over, and yet we have missed this tiny little button. So either the new program is working its absolute magic and picking out all of these nice little high conductors in and amongst the iron, or we have just missed it. But of course it might have rained since then, so that's going to bring things out a little bit brighter on the target identification. But hey, if that's anything to go by, we might be in for a bit more luck today. So stay tuned, and if I do get anything, of course I will let you know. There we go, have a little listen to that. Now that is coming up as a solid 73 on the target identification screen. And have a listen to it. I mean, you were actually going to dig that every day, all day. Yet somehow we have managed to walk over it. So let's give it a bit of a live dig and see what we've got. Could be something good, but of course it could be something absolutely rubbish. Okay, well, it's saying it's come out. And what do we have here? Surely that's not what I think it is it? Surely not. So on first impressions, this does look like another little Roman grot. And if you remember on some of the other videos, we've had a few of these in this field so far. It's the right sort of number, it's the right colour, but is this a Roman grot or is this a little button? Because if you look very carefully on this side, oh no, is that a shank? It almost looks like there's a shank mark just on the back there. And you can almost see some sort of silver coming through. So it could be a little button. It could just be a little button, but it's a very convincing little Roman coin as well, isn't it? Absolutely. Well, whatever this little thing is, it's small, it's round, and it's made of copper alloy. And we have already missed it. So if that is anything to go by, you know, we could obviously be finding a lot more. Whether this turns out to be a Roman coin or if it's just a little button, it doesn't make too much difference in the terms of, are we actually going to be producing anything going over the same patch 3 times? So, well, I'll give it a clean up, keep you posted. Fingers crossed it's a Roman coin, but of course, could be a button. So we've just had quite an interesting little find down here. But it's not a sort of bronze or copper alloy or anything like that. It's actually a small iron, what looks possibly like a nail of some kind. Now, of course, could be a hobnail, which of course means it could have come from the bottom of somebody's shoe, but it's pretty hard to tell in the condition that it's in. So we aren't going to be 100% sure what we've got here right now, but it was pretty deep, which means we are picking up things that are quite deep in the ground. And I would probably say this was around 2 or 3 inches again in the ploughed soil. So could be an interesting little find, but we'd have to do a bit more investigation on this one to find out. Okay, so once again, we have found another target, and this one was deep. Now I'm going to hazard a guess and say that's probably about 5 inches, maybe even 6 inches down. And what's just come out of this hole isn't anything Roman, but it is a really small little copper alloy. It's the firing bit from the middle of a shotgun cap, and it's literally just that little center bit that goes in the bottom. So the rest of the actual shotgun cap has rotted away, and it's just left the little firing center bit here. So this is a tiny, tiny little find, and it's not all a copper alloy either. It's going to have a little bit of iron in there. And this little coil and this program has just picked this out 5 inches down underneath this ploughed soil. And again, it's a patch that we've done before. So I'm pretty confident that if we are finding little bits like this that are this small, this deep down, if there is anything else left in this patch that is Roman, we've got to find it without a shadow of a doubt. So it's a really good little confidence boost, but nothing great in terms of a find. So let's keep pushing on and hopefully we get something good. Well, we've finally gone and found something. And honestly, right now, I am so in amongst that irony patch. This was the really sort of concentrated bit where I had a majority of the Roman finds when we were here for the last 2 weeks. But to find an absolutely banging target like this in and amongst this irony patch, and this one again was pretty deep. I would again say that this is maybe 4 or 5 inches down. And what a nice little find that we've just had. So I don't know if this is Roman. In fact, I'm kind of 100% sure this definitely isn't Roman. But it looks really interesting. And on first impressions, it almost looks like it's got some sort of cross in the middle of it. Now the little nodules on the top and the bottom and the sides say to me that this is very possibly medieval. It just has a sort of medieval look about it. But exactly what it is, I'm not too sure. But it does have a bent pin on the back there. Now that would suggest to me that this is very possibly a little copper alloy leather mount of some kind. And this could be quite old. I mean, this could date to the maybe 1400s, something like that. And it would have been a really nice little decorative piece on somebody's horse strap at one stage. And now, obviously, it looks all dirty and corroded, But back then, when this was fixed to somebody's horse strap, this would have been super shiny and maybe even would have resembled gold or something like that. So it's easy to look at this and just think, oh, it's not very pretty, but back then this would have been a very elegant little piece and a really nice find. So nothing Roman yet, but I'm quite happy with that. It's a really nice little mount, I think, but I'll hopefully clean it up and stick it on the video for you, and let's push on and see if we get anything good. So we've been in this hotspot now for a good few hours. I'd probably say about 4 to 4.5 hours. And to be honest, it hasn't produced as many good finds as what we've had in here before. We've had some nice bits, and as I say, you know, we've managed to find all the small little bits that we've missed before, but nothing of interest as of yet. But lo and behold, I've just had a signal and it's lead. But it's an interesting piece of lead, and you can't say that about lead very often because, to be honest, it's never usually very interesting. This was really close to the surface as well, so I didn't really have to dig for this very much. I just scratched around with a pinpointer and out it came. So I do like those, but it's quite an interesting thing. So as you can see, it's very textured and it actually looks hollow as well. So I think this is very possibly something off of a statue or a figurine, because it's made of lead, it's hollow, and it's a very peculiar shape, isn't it? Very peculiar shape indeed. I've been trying to work out what this would have been, and the only thing I can come up with is it possibly an ear? Almost like a rabbit's ear or something like that. I mean, that's the only real thing I can think of what it might be. But it's an interesting little find. It was a super loud belting target, so we were going to dig that one all day long, as you would expect for things that are close to the top. And yeah, it's interesting. It's just not that old. But we've probably got about an hour left, so I'm going to keep pushing on. I'm going to keep working this little patch and just see if we can get anything else. Wish me luck. Well, it's been some time now since we've had any decent targets in this field. I have gone over this iron spot more times than I care to remember. And yet we have definitely found some of the smaller little bits that we obviously have missed before, but not really had anything Roman, not really had anything big. So I think we are really just picking up the drips and dregs of whatever anyone has missed in the past. So it hasn't been a too unproductive day. It just means that we're probably going to have to wait for this field to be ploughed again, or maybe even when the crop has grown and it's been harvested, then we can get back in here and obviously try and give that little spot another go. However, late in the afternoon, I've just had a nice little find, but I don't think it's Roman. Now, where I am at the moment is a little bit away from that irony hotspot. It's kind of down the slope from it a little bit, and to be honest, I haven't paid this much attention to this little area, which is probably why I'm finding big sort of copper alloy items like this. And I actually think I do know what this is. However, I cannot be 100% certain right now. So my first impressions is that it's a little bull's head, isn't it? You can see his ears each side, and you can see the two eyes and the snout with the nose. And if you flip it over, it's completely flat on the other side, so it was never designed to be seen from this side, and it has a small little round indentation in the middle. So this is going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a coat hook, which I have seen before, or it's going to be a little medieval horse harness mount. And that would make two harness mounts that we've found in this field today. And I'm pretty much willing to bet that this is from the medieval period, which will probably take it in line with the other little one that we found earlier. And it certainly means that people from the medieval period have been in this field. But of course, that is just a wild guess. I'm only going from memory. I don't think I've ever found one of these before, but I certainly have seen them online, and from what I can remember, I think they are harness decorations. But I'll try and do a bit of homework about this one and pop it on the video for you. And if you've got any information about this, then please leave me a comment below. I would love to know what you think about this little find. It's probably my best find of today, and it's most certainly a few hundred years old. Would have been really, really nice and gilt and decorated when it was in use, but unfortunately now it's just been left to the plough, and it's been rolling around in the soil for so many years. But nice little find, really pleased to find it. Okay, so we are now at the end of our third day in this amazing field, and to be honest, it hasn't been the promising day that I thought it might be, but I did say at the start of the video I would be very surprised if we came in here and found loads of stuff over the same patch 3 times. To be honest, I'm really happy with the little bits and bobs that we've had, and as I said before, it proves that just by changing the program, changing a few of the settings, you can inkle out all those little bits that you might have missed by going over it with a different program or on a different day, or if it's rained. There are so many different varieties there that could play an impact with regards to what you're going to find on the day. But I've really enjoyed myself. It's been an absolutely wonderful day. The sun's been out, the birds have been singing, and yeah, a nice couple of finds to go home with as well. So thank you all so much for watching my videos. It really does mean a lot. Don't forget, if you do like content just like this, hit that subscribe button below, because there's going to be loads more videos coming up with some really exciting permissions as well. And of course, if you did like the video today, hit me a thumbs up as well. That means a lot. But I will see you all on the very next dig.